All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores. Are the Commanders finally getting the respect that we deserve? The Washington Commanders have skyrocketed up multiple national media power rankings. We're going to look at which ones. We're actually just going to look at all of the power rankings and where we are. We haven't necessarily skyrocketed up all of them, but most of them for sure. So if you're a Commanders fan, you're going to feel good watching this video. Is it time to buy stock in the Commanders right now? Are we NFC East favorites right now? And of course, this video is sponsored by BetUS and Sportsbook. And before we dive into this video, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. Really appreciate y'all. It's to the point that I have so many videos I need to get out that I may have to come out with 3 today, because I'm really trying to move on to previewing and scouting the Bengals. So be on the lookout for that video as well. And I mean, not the Cardinals, my fault. And of course I will be live streaming that entire Cardinals game as well. But I have an interesting stats video, like insane stats that came from that, especially like some Jaden Daniels stat where he like had a historical performance. I have so many things I want to talk about before we move on to focusing on to the Cardinals. So make sure you stay tuned for that all day today. And I'm working on film sessions for channel memberships only. Really appreciate y'all. Let's go and dive into the video instead of wasting more of y'all time. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so these are the power rankings entering week 4. So that's why we call them week 4 power rankings. What we were last week heading into the Bengals game were the week 3 power rankings. We're going to go ahead and start with ESPN. And of course, our ESPN representative is John Com, so he's the one that gives like the breakdown, but I'm pretty sure it's like the entire ESPN network that actually does these rankings. It's not John Com himself. They just ask him to speak on behalf of what's going on with the Commanders, how good we feel and everything like that. Last week we were ranked 27th. Now we are ranked 18th for ESPN. John Com wrote, entering the Monday night game, Washington ranked 27th in red zone scoring, largely due to having to kick 6 field goals in week 2 versus the Giants. 4 penalties helped stall drives in that win, but overall execution must improve. The passing game hasn't worked in the red zone. Quarterback Jaden Daniels completed 1 of his 5 red zone passes in the first 2 games, and the run game was tied for 16th, averaging 2.7 yards per carry. After Monday night's win over the Bengals, the Commanders have scored a touchdown on 100% on their red zone trips, showing much improvement. I mean, we went crazy days. If we touched the red zone, we would score a touchdown against the Bengals. I absolutely love that. Immediate improvement. This wasn't like it's going to take a few games, going to take half a season, most of the season, or anything like that. You know, a lot of teams don't really catch their stride until November. We caught our stride week 3 with all of these new pieces, new quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new 3/5 of the offensive line, all kinds of stuff. It's amazing what we're doing right now. And we were scoring in the red zone against the Buccaneers. It's not like we just couldn't score touchdowns all season. It was that Giants game where we couldn't score touchdowns. And again, I blame the penalties more than I blame like Jaden Daniels or Cliff Kingsbury or anybody like that. And then the immediate week after that, we scored touchdowns every time we touched the red zone. And I believe we scored touchdown on every drive except for 1 field goal, especially if you're including all of the kneels downs that we did going into halftime and to end the game. Now moving on to NFL.com. Last week, going into the Bengals game, they had us ranked 28th. Now they have us 16th. That's going up 12 spots. ESPN had us going up 9. NFL.com has us going up 12, a top 16 team. Let's get it. Eric Edholm of NFL.com wrote, Jaden Daniels was already among the league leaders in completion percentage at 75.5%, and that was before he completed 21 of his 23 passes on Monday night, and a stunningly good performance that fueled the Commanders' road upset of the Bengals. Daniels was so cool and poised all night, leading 6 scoring drives, 5 touchdowns, in 6 tries, not counting kneel downs. He sprayed the ball all over, including a few gorgeous deep shots, and was a terror with his legs, rushing for a touchdown and 5 first downs, frustrating the Bengals all night. Yes, sir. Love to hear it, man. Now let's move on to Yahoo Sports. Last week they had us ranked 27th. This week they have us ranked 17th. We move up 10 spots for Yahoo Sports. Then you have Frank Schwab from over there. He wrote, Jaden Daniels completed 21 of his 23 passes for a 91% completion percentage. You're going to see that stat brought up a lot in these power rankings. That's like a real point of emphasis, but it makes sense, like for a good reason. That is a new NFL record for a rookie quarterback. Daniels was nearly perfect in a massive road win over the Bengals. This suddenly feels a lot like RG3 as a rookie, doesn't it? I actually push back on that. I disagree because RG3 was never this good of a like pocket passer, a guy that can read defenses quickly, go through his progressions, and then make the right pass. Not only the right pass like decision wise, but also the right pass accuracy wise, touch. If a receiver streaking to the right and there's a DB coming from that direction, to throw it behind them a little bit to force them to turn around so that they don't get just absolutely obliterated. You know what I'm saying? It's little nuanced things that Jaden Daniels already has in his bag that a lot of veteran quarterbacks never even get, including Robert Griffin III. Now, I cherish that 2012 season because as a guy that was not born in time to see any of the Super Bowls, that 2012 RG3 season is probably the season I hold dearest to my heart as a Commanders fan. Like, my whole life of being a Redskins, Washington football team, Commanders fan, that's probably the highest point of me being a fan at any point since I've been alive and been a fan of the team. So I'm not trying to disrespect RG3, but this is completely different. Even just athleticism wise, RG3 was a track speed, really fast running in a straight line type of guy, but he wasn't as agile as Jaden Daniels. He couldn't move laterally and horizontally like Jaden Daniels does, making people miss with agility, spins, jukes, and things like that, change of direction. He didn't have that in his bag. So Jaden Daniels is the better athlete. He's better at, using his legs and making things shape with his legs. And then he's also the better pocket passer. I would say already better than RG3 ever became. So that just has me even more optimistic about what this future can be. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to keep rising up these power rankings. We are not done. Then you have USA Today. Last week we were ranked 27th. There seems to be a trend where we were like bottom 5, bottom 8 in the league at the very best. But now they have us ranked 18th. We move up 9 spots. You have Nate Davis from USA Today saying their nice college offense with quotations per Cincy cornerback Cam Taylor-Britt scored Washington's most points, 38 in 4 years. As a quarterback, Jaden Daniels set a record for completion percentage in the game, 91.3% in Monday's victory. The Commanders haven't punted since week 1. If the season ended today, it doesn't. They'd be in command of the NFC East. Right now, we lead the division. Just to remind you, we are the 4th seed in the NFL playoffs right now, at least 4th or 3rd. Then, Pro Football Talk, they had us ranked 26th last week. Now we're ranked 15th. We move up 11 spots for them. Mike Florio, who's typically a hater of the Commanders, but maybe now he's on board. It's a good thing for Malik Neighbors they canceled that $10,000 offensive rookie of the year bet. That's all he had to say. Basically saying Jaden Daniels pretty much has that wrapped up, which is interesting too, because we're going to talk about that when we talk about BetUS soon, which is a perfect segue. Let's get it. Of course, as you can see at the top left of the screen, this show is provided by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. If you're looking for a new sportsbook, it should be BetUS for sure. First of all, they have the fastest payouts in the industry. I know y'all want y'all money fast, and right now BetUS is offering you a 150% sign up bonus on your first 3 deposits for up to $2,000 with code YouTube150, which is YOUTUBE 150. And they have a fast and easy withdrawal and deposit process and everything. So it's like, why not? You know what I'm saying? Now let's go take a look at some of the betting lines. I feel like it's only right to go look at what's going on with this offensive rookie of the year race right now. And as you can see, Jaden Daniels has the best odds to win offensive rookie of the year. And it's not even necessarily close. Like Malik Neighbors is the closest at plus 250. Jaden Daniels is plus 175, and it's crazy because I told y'all weeks ago that you may want to get in on that Jaden Daniels winning offensive rookie of the year bet early on, because now you're gonna make less money from it than you would have back then, but you can still make some good money on it. And like I said, it's only gonna get higher and higher. He's only gonna get better and better and better. So you may want to get on it now versus getting in on it later. Even though it would have been better weeks ago, you're gonna feel that same way weeks from now. You should have got it today. I'm telling you right now. Also, as you can see on the screenshot, I had to include my 2 Georgia Bulldogs there. You know, I literally screenshotted it to the point that you really 2.5, 3 Georgia Bulldogs with my boy A.D. Mitchell, Brock Bowers, and Ladd McConkey. Of course, that was on purpose how I screenshotted that. Y'all know me, man. But going back to Jaden Daniels, if you have $100 to spare to put in on this, if you put $100 on Jaden Daniels winning Offensive Rookie of the Year right now, you could end up winning $175 by the end of the season. But if you want to play it safe and just put down a quick 10, you know, just a small little $10, you could end up winning $1,750 by the end of the season. And I think it's pretty safe to say that Jaden Daniels is destined to win this Offensive Rookie of the Year. Even Mike Florio, who's been hating on the Commanders for years, even when we do something positive, he's found a way to hate. Even he said that it's a good thing that Malik Neighbors canceled that $10,000 bet with Jaden Daniels, because Jaden Daniels is going to win that Offensive Rookie of the Year. And so this is basically almost essentially like free profit. You can just assume that if you put down $10, you can get that $1,750. But of course, I always scream to y'all, please gamble responsibly, man. If you don't do nothing else, please gamble responsibly. Now, let's go ahead and get back to this video. Now, getting back to these power rankings, let's do Bleacher Report now. You know what I'm saying? Last week they had us 26th. They moved us up 8 spots to 18th now. And they, of course, pointed out the fact that our week 3 result was a win at Cincinnati, 38-33. And then this one's a pretty extensive explanation, but we're going to get through it. You know what I'm saying? They said in the lead up to Washington's Monday night trip to Cincinnati, Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels told reporters that he was looking forward to playing under the lights for the first time in the NFL. He said, quote, "I mean, it's special, obviously, be able to play one that early, just coming off my first actual game, the first home opener, now first Monday night game. So it's going to be special. But at the end of the day, it's another game you're just playing later on in the week," unquote. Daniel certainly appeared comfortable in the moment, and while one start does not make a career, we may have witnessed the coming out party for one of the league's next great young quarterbacks in the Queen City. The Bengals, the Queen City is what I've never heard of that. That's Washington, D.C. I'm so sorry. I have no idea. You know, that's kind of taking y'all out of the immersion of all of the Jaden Daniels praise and everything like that. I've never heard of that one. That one just caught me off guard. Maybe I'm too young. I don't know. Either way, or maybe it's from the fact that I'm, raised in Atlanta. That's a new one. Either way, continuing with the Bleacher Report article, the Bengals had no answer whatsoever for Daniels and the Washington offense. Of Daniels' 23 pass attempts, just 2 fell incomplete, a rookie record. Daniels threw for 254 yards in his first 2 NFL touchdowns and led the Commanders in rushing as well. Do the Commanders still have issues? Yes. Will Washington make the playoffs in 2024? Probably not. A defense that has been a sieve dating back to last season surrendered 436 yards of offense against the Bengals, but Daniels was poised, accurate, athletic. He looked every bit of the part, the franchise quarterback the Commanders have lacked since Kirk Cousins left town. And I understand what they're saying there, but Jaden Daniels is already better than Kirk Cousins ever was and will ever be. It's probably not going to hold, but Washington is tied for first place in the NFC East 3 games in. Not many folks expected that to be the case. Yeah, you could say it's not going to hold, but some people thought that after our week 2 win against the Giants. And this isn't going to last long. They're going to lose next week to the Bengals and they'll fall right back. I feel like the Bengals are a little bit more comp than what I'm expecting from the Cardinals, especially the Giants. The Ravens that we play week 6 may be something, but the Panthers, not too worried about them. This Andy Dalton thing is going to sizzle out eventually, I'm sure. The Bears, not worried about them necessarily. We beat the Giants, and then it's the Steelers, you know what I'm saying? I don't see why we can't just keep this up. The Cowboys and Eagles have to play some tough opponents. That's just me, though. Okay, so I just looked it up. It's a Cincinnati thing. Okay, that's why I've never heard of that. I was confused. I was like, there's no way anybody's ever called DC that. I know, I'm technically from Atlanta, but I was born in Maryland, man. I just refuse. So people are saying it's Charlotte and Cincinnati. I know I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with y'all, even though it's not football related. I had to look that up. I had to stop immediately after that Bleacher Report article and go do my own research on who the Queen City is. Never heard of that in my life. Okay, now I feel better about the fact that it wasn't DC, because I was starting to feel a little shame. I was pronouncing Potomac wrong. I was saying Potomac Dakota Mac, y'all got on me for that, and I just, there's no way I missed the Queen City. Not again. Not again. Not me messing up something DC or DMV again, man. But all right, man, let's keep it pushing. So now we're moving on to CBS Sports, and they even have it as like their biggest movers, the people that rose the highest and the people that fell the furthest. We rose the highest up 12 spots, and the Raiders fell the furthest in 16 spots. But I guess that was just too much hype after beating the Ravens when they had no business beating them in the first place in week 2, and then they actually went out there and lost the way they were supposed to in week 3. So it all makes sense. It all ended up being what it was supposed to be. But either way, we went from 29th to 17th in the CBS Power Rankings. They said the Commanders have their quarterback for the long run. We're already declaring that by week 3. Even as non-Commanders fans, I love to hear it. Jaden Daniels will be a star. We saw that in the victory over the Bengals on Monday night. Short, sweet, to the point. They give everybody like a sentence or two. I ain't mad at it, man. Much love there, man. Let's do it. Now you have the NewYorkTimes.com/athletic. I think the New York Times bought the Athletic. I guess that's why that's a thing. But either way, last week they had us ranked 29th. Now they have us ranked 18th. I mean, from one of the worst 3 teams in the NFL to a top half of the league almost team, at least average team, is pretty incredible. We moved up 11 spots in 1 week. They said surprise just how good Jaden Daniels has been. They give a surprise for every team. Like every team, every ranking, they give like the biggest surprise. And ours was just how good Jaden Daniels has been. They also said completion percentage is not the best indicator of quarterback success, but it's still remarkable watching this rookie leads the NFL in that stat through 3 weeks at 80.3%. Daniels, the number 2 pick in the draft behind Caleb Williams, is second in the league in EPA per attempt, 0.43, which is a pretty good indicator of quarterback performance. On Monday night, Daniels was 21 of 23 for 254 yards and his first 2 NFL passing touchdowns. Daniels, whose first scoring pass went to a 320-pound offensive tackle Trent Scott, has yet to throw a single interception. I'm surprised it took this long for anybody to point out the fact that Jaden Daniels doesn't have a single turnover so far through 3 weeks, and it's not like we're just being extremely passive. This guy's attacking deep down the field. He's asked to read defenses and go through his progressions. It's not like it's just this super simple, easy offense where he's only being asked to read half the field and things like that. No, he's playing big ball, grown man quarterback right now, and he still hasn't turned the ball over. That's elite stuff. I'm not expecting him to go his entire career without ever turning the ball over, but this is phenomenal right now. And again, he's leading the league in passing percentage right now, and that wasn't a bunch of screens against the Bengals, so I don't want to hear none of that from anybody from a different fan base, whatever. Now, moving on to Sportsnaut. They have us ranked 16th right now. That's pretty high. I believe they had us ranked 30th last week. Yep, from 30th to 16th. That's probably our biggest jump out of anybody that we're going to talk about in this video. From 30th to 16th. That's incredible, man. So that's a 14 spot jump. Let's get it. It's amazing what a franchise caliber quarterback can do for a team. And that, I'm just realized I'm tripping because that last article when I said we were 29th, we were not a bottom 3 team. We were a bottom 4 team. Now, when they had us ranked 30th from last week on Sportsnaut, we were a bottom 3 team. I had to make sure I go back and correct that, but I'm not going to go and like edit it out or anything like that. Yeah, I got to see how I make these mistakes live and things like that. But either way, we went from a bottom 3 team to a literally like right in the middle, halfway average team, 16th, top half of the league team. Technically, you know, if we were 17th, we'd be a bottom half of the league, right there at 16th. But it's amazing what a franchise caliber quarterback can do for the team. The Washington Commanders took some of the handcuffs off this offense in week 3, and Daniels delivered one of the best Monday night performances we've seen in years. Thanks to the rookie quarterback, Washington's offense has now scored on 14 consecutive drives, excluding kneel downs. Washington's defense is still abysmal, and the offensive line is a work in progress, but this is the best the Commanders have looked in years. I completely agree. It's only week 3, and we already look the best I think I've ever seen, at least potential-wise, in pretty much my lifetime, honestly. Now, moving on to GiveMeSport.com, we were ranked 28th last week. We are now ranked 16th. let's do it, man. And they give a pretty nice breakdown of why they gave us that rank. They said, you know how last year when the number 2 overall pick in the draft was better than the number 1 overall pick? Well, that's how things seem to be playing out once again. The difference between CJ Stroud and Bryce Young was a lot bigger, but if Jaden Daniels keeps playing the way he did in the Washington Commanders win over the Bengals, the difference between him and Caleb Williams could get close to that by year's end. I mean, I already know Jaden Daniels is going to be a great quarterback. That was never a worry for me. I still personally, me as Rico of StreetScores, feel like Caleb Williams is eventually going to figure it out and become a good quarterback as well. I think it's just going to take him longer because he's used to playing hero ball, and also Jaden Daniels was at LSU going against Alabama and great defenses like that. Caleb Williams over there in the Pac-12, which doesn't even really exist anymore, going against the most vanilla, wet paper towel defenses out there doing it. Of course there was going to be an adjustment period, but I still believe in Caleb Williams' talent even as a Commanders fan and a Jaden Daniels truther. I don't think Caleb Williams is going to end up being a Bryce Young is my point. But I also do believe that Jaden Daniels will be the better quarterback, not only now, but long term as well. Let's not get that confused. We can give Caleb Williams a little bit of credit, a little bit of patience, but he's not going to be better than Jaden Daniels. I'm saying that straight up right now. Now, continuing with the article, the Washington defense is still a problem, and not in a good way. There's no getting around that, and it needs to be addressed. But the attention here has to be on Daniels, who was absolutely incredible, completing a ridiculous 21 of 33 passes for 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, another one on the ground, let's add that, and no interceptions, let's add that as well. And those 2 TD passes couldn't have been more different. The first, which was the first of Daniels' career, was a little 1-yard flip to offensive tackle Trent Scott, whose dance afterwards was hysterical. Love Trent Scott for that, man. I don't want him blocking for us, but hey, he can catch some touchdowns any day for me, man. And then the second was a phenomenal 27-yarder. He threw it from about the 35 to Terry McLaurin that Daniels put on a dime off his back foot while getting blasted. Hold on, let's not ignore the fact that he took a hit stick to the chin to make that pass. The Commanders won't win all of these shootouts, but this one was fun to watch. Let's get it. Now you have Walter Football, who again refuses to call us any name other than the Washington Redskins. He had us ranked 28th last week. He has us ranked 18th, notably over the Dallas Cowboys, who most of y'all hate the most. That's the team I hate the second most. But how about the Atlanta Falcons as well, who are ranked 20th, who is the team I hate the most? So I love to see that. We're ranked above the Cowboys and the Falcons. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then Walter Football said, last week I wrote that Jaden Daniels' 23 of 29 stat line was very impressive. Little did I know that he'd go 21 of 23 the following week. Daniels has been ridiculous thus far. If this continues, it's crazy to think how good the Redskins will be once they upgrade their tackles, edge rushers, and cornerbacks. I think Brandon Coleman is coming. I think he's coming of age. I think that's going to work out. I think he's going to be a franchise left tackle for us. He did a great job against Trey Hendrickson, literally outside of the one play that he allowed a sack. But I think tackle-wise, I mean, it'd be nice to get a long-term tackle, but Andrew Wiley is serviceable. You're okay there. You could do much worse than Andrew Wiley. Trust me, if you're looking at some of these other offensive lines around the NFL. But edge rusher and corner, I completely agree. Let's go figure that out, man. I mean, the only debate there is, do we wait till the 2025 offseason because we're building towards the future, or do we make some moves now, free agency or trade-wise, to go and get a corner right now so that we can try to compete this year because we're just that excited. We believe that much in this team after only just 3 weeks. We'll see. Now moving on to NFL rankings.theringer.com, provided by The Ringer. They still have us ranked 25th. I believe this is the lowest ranking by far that you're going to see or hear all video outside of Pro Football Focus, because theirs are based on like certain stats. It's not like they actually look at teams and feel like, okay, this team is better than that team, I'm going to rank them above them. They didn't do that. They just did stats. The Ringer is the only one that I believe that isn't necessarily stats based that has us ranked this far down, 25th. They said Cincinnati didn't make it difficult for Daniels, but the rookie quarterback was finally able to produce some explosive passing opportunities and hung in the pocket better than he had in the first 2 weeks of his career. Daniels has clearly been the best out of the rookie passers through the first 3 games, and at 2-1, I'm willing to enjoy the ride with Washington. Well, it doesn't sound like it having us ranked 25th, but that's cool though. But they do have some stats on the side. They said passing offense second in EPA per dropback with a 0.36, rushing offense second with a 0.15 EPA per rush, but then the defense is where we're lacking. We're dead last in passing defense at 0.53 EPA per drop back allowed, and then we're 24th in rushing defense at a negative 0.01 EPA per rush allowed, which we'll take it. I guess we'll take it. And then you move on. We have a guy named Michael Herbers who's literally just suddenly started doing NFL power rankings off of Medium. And up until this point, he was doing more so like album reviews from what I saw on medium.com, where really anybody could just make any articles on there. All you gotta do is just sign up. You can write articles on that website. But either way, he has his week 4 power rankings as well. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like we shouldn't exclude it. He had us ranked 27th last week. He has us ranked 21st this week. And the reason I'm including this is because of the compliments that he gives us. He has us ranked lower than I'd expected compared to where everybody else has us lower, but it is what it is. But he still gives us some good compliments. He said the Commanders starting out 2-1 isn't something I would have predicted, but honestly, they haven't looked bad. Jaden Daniels has been playing way better than I thought he would early on, and he made some throws in the Bengals game that were absolute darts. His running game doesn't seem to be slowed down by NFL defenses either. That being said, the Commanders defense isn't playing well, and the offense couldn't score a single touchdown on the Giants. But the Bengals game showed how explosive the Daniels-led Commanders could be, and I'm optimistic the Commanders could sneakily be a 7-8 win team. Meanwhile, you have Cowboys greats Keyshawn Johnson and Michael Irvin on their show, The Speak, saying that the Commanders look like a 9-10 win team. If you haven't checked that out, go check out that video I put out yesterday where I gave y'all all of the major quotes from all of the major networks, guys like Nick Wright and Marcus Spears, again, Keyshawn Johnson, Michael Irvin, Dan Orlovsky, all of their quotes about Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, Terry McLaurin, and the overall Commanders. I did a whole video on that yesterday if you haven't seen that yet. And then lastly, before we get up out of here, like I mentioned earlier, Pro Football Focus has their own power rankings, and we are ranked 29th, but that's because they have all of these weird stats of strength of schedule to date 25th, strength of schedule remaining 26th, projected win total 8.3, which isn't that bad, which is actually higher than a lot of people ranked above us. Let me scroll until I see the higher projected win total at this point and where we should be. So the New York Jets at 18th are at 9.4, which means they should, based on projected win total, have us at 19th, because the Bears are at 19th with a 7.6. So I don't know what they got going on. So really, Pro Football Focus feels like we're the 19th team just based on that stat alone. But it is what it is. For some reason, we're 29th on their list. Then they have percentage chance of making the playoffs 35%, which is obviously higher than most of the people ahead of us. But it is what it is. We're just going to ignore it for now. Percentage chance of winning division 18, percentage chance of winning the conference 3, and then percentage chance of winning the Super Bowl 1%. I'll take it. We'll see what happens. They also said the Commanders rode the back of their rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels to an emphatic week 3 win against the Bengals. They'll be ecstatic with Daniels' performance through the first 3 weeks, and the Commanders lead the league in EPA per play on offense with a 0.252. So you could argue the Washington Commanders have the best offense in the NFL right now. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please still farm that like button, still farm the subscription button, still farm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you do not leave this video without leaving a like on this video, please, man. And of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about all of the discourse surrounding the Commanders right now, our power rankings, how far we increased on some of these power rankings, like 12, 14, 9 spots, how low we are on some of these people power rankings for whatever reason. Let me know how you feel about how you just feel about the overall state of the Commanders right now. Are you a believer? If you were a guy that had us winning like maybe 5-6 wins after that Bengals victory, and the way that we, not just the fact that we won it, but the way that we won it, how do you feel about your record prediction now? Did it change? Did you increase the wins, or do you still feel like, nah, 5 to 6 wins, this is going to end up tailing off at some point or whatever? Or if you were a guy that were very high on the Commanders and you still feel like they are, now is the time to poke your chest out. So let me know all of your opinions in the comment section about the Commanders, about how the national media feels about the Commanders, everything, or any opinions that I had in this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I really appreciate y'all. Again, do not leave this video without leaving a like, and of course, remember that this video was sponsored by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. And again, if you don't do anything else, please gamble responsibly, y'all. Please gamble responsibly. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.